As the calendar turns to December, it's starting to feel like Christmas season. And in the spirit of Christmas, we thought we'd take a few minutes today and provide a podcast for you about something that's near and dear to our heart. And when I say our, it's not just me and Jessica this time. It's my mom. You may remember a couple of years ago, we did a really large fundraiser drive for Christmas Shining Star in Kansas City and St. Joseph and provided a whole bunch of gifts. And we'll be making donations again this year. And I thought it would be a wonderful time of year as we're watching all of our favorite holiday movies, whether you're watching Chevy Chase stumble around on the roof of his house, or Will Ferrell dressed as an elf, or the Christmas classic Home Alone, where little Kevin stays home and foils the bad guys trying to get into his house and steal all their stuff. Or, you know, maybe it's a bunch of Christmas stories or parties that you'll be attending or events that you'll be going to throughout the month of December. One thing that we all have in common this month is we recognize this is the time of the year to think about others. Each one of those iconic movies, every message that you hear in church or your service this time of year is about giving. It's about others. It's about help to those maybe less fortunate, those in need, or maybe it's just opening a door for someone at the store when you go to Walmart. Maybe you just stand there and open a door for somebody or do something kind. It's a different kind of world that we live in now. I was at Walmart the other day, and instead of the bell ringers out there with the Salvation Army, I saw a kiosk set up with one of those QR codes that you scan your phone and can donate that way. And I have no problem doing it that way. I think that's wonderful if it gets more people to give, but it seems like some of the personal touch from so many things is gone in our lives. And this would be a great month to just reconnect with other people, family, friends, maybe somebody you haven't spoken with in a while or reached out to, or maybe somebody you had a disagreement with many years ago. It might be a time to maybe write just a handwritten note or a letter and send it in the mail, or pick up the phone and call somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. And in the spirit of forgiveness or giving, think of others instead of thinking about yourself this time of year. So in that spirit, we're going to talk a little bit about Christmas Shining Star with Susan Walker. She's the Executive Director of Outreach for Catholic Charities of Kansas City and St. Joseph. And basically what she does is tries to get the word out about Christmas Shining Star. If you want to Google Christmas Shining Star, you can do that. And it will link you with their website, which is a little complicated and clunky to give out as we speak here, but it's pretty easy. Just Google Christmas Shining Star, and you'll find these folks. They have a Facebook page. They have a way that you can purchase on Amazon under Christmas Shining Star and send something right to the families in need. What Christmas Shining Star does, and what Susan will explain for us, is they essentially work with families in need throughout the year. But then at Christmas time, these families that are receiving help from the charity are refocused toward the children and what they'd like to have for Christmas. When my kids were little, we used to take them shopping, and we would buy things for other kids. I'd say, what would you like for Christmas this year? And Abby would say, I want this. And I'd say, great, let's go get it, and we're going to donate it, and we're going to give it to someone else. I thought it was a pretty cool exercise, and I know that many of you regularly tithe or give or do things. I'm not asking you to do anything out of the ordinary here, but if you are at the time of the year where you're thinking about giving, consider Christmas Shining Star, either making a donation. You can go by their offices. They're in Kansas City, Missouri on Martin Luther King Boulevard, or you can give them a call or go to the website, make a donation that way. Or if you'd like to go shopping and just drop some items off, you can feel good about what you're getting. You can even buy clothes for kids. If you'd like to do something, you know, coats, clothes, games, toys, anything like that you think a kid might like, we'd be honored if you'd consider Christmas Shining Star. It is a very worthy charity. The people who run this are wonderful. They do great things with families in Kansas City and St. Joseph, and we're really proud of our association with Christmas Shining Star. They're located at 4001 Martin Luther King Boulevard, suite number 250, if you want to check them out. And to hear more about exactly what it is that they do, we have Susan Walker lined up. She's the Executive Director of Outreach for Catholic Charities of Kansas City. Susan joins us now. We're going to talk a little bit about Christmas Shining Star. This is a project that we were involved with here with the podcast a couple of years ago, and actually visited with my mom, had a wonderful visit, met some really nice folks, and they're doing great things for families in Kansas City and St. Joe that could use some gifts this holiday season because they might not be getting any gifts if we don't do programs like this. Susan, how are you today? Happy December and happy Christmas season.
And back to you. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much.
Let's start just at the top here. You're the executive director of outreach for Catholic Charities, and one of the wonderful things that you do is Christmas Shining Star, but you do multiple other things, military charities, people with disabilities. There's just a lot of things that you're involved with in our community, but I have a real passion for kids around the holidays. I think a lot of people have that and understand what it was like the way I grew up, the way my children grew up, and know that there are some children out there that don't get to experience that. Tell me about Christmas Shining Star, what it's all about, and what it means for families in and around Kansas City and St. Joe.
I'd love to do that. Christmas Shining Star is one of my very favorite programs because we serve the children whose parents and families are in our case management programs. So these are folks that are living on the edge of poverty, and you're absolutely right. If it wasn't for the Shining Star program, a lot of these children would not experience the joy of the holidays. And then, frankly, that spills over to their parents, because how awful is it not to be able to provide for yourself and your children and to give them that holiday? So Shining Star steps in here to try to make the holiday as bright as it possibly can be for some people that are in some pretty serious situations. Folks that are in our case management programs may be, maybe single mothers that maybe there's another kid on the way and they've got a couple of older children. Maybe they've got toddlers that are in our social emotional learning program. Maybe they're veterans that are on the edge of homelessness and in the program to get them stabilized, or in our housing programs. But the kids are always kind of the second thought here. The parents are getting a lot of the case management, but the kids are living this experience as well. So we go to the parents and we ask them to go to the kids and say, what's on your wish list? And we always try to do the thing about, what's something that you want, something you need, something to wear, and something to read. So they get, something that's practical, and they get a toy that we want. We ask them their favorite colors. We ask them their favorite characters. And then we put that on a wish list and we push it out to our wonderful supporters and stakeholders who'd like to do something for the kids this Christmas season. So it's anything from, some of the wish lists are so simple. They're just, I want a hoodie and I really like the color red, and I'd like a journal because I like to write, or I'd like a craft kit so that I could make something because I like to be creative. Or I like the Chiefs. I like the Marvel Comics guys. I like Disney princesses. And so to have them choose something and then get that on Christmas morning is really, it's a magical moment for these kids because chances are there would be nothing else.
I love the customization, and we've been involved in a lot of toy drives through the years, and sometimes it's as simple as asking people to go by a location and drop a toy in the bin, and they'll match it up with the kid or something like that. But I love the fact that you know so much about the people that you're working with. Is it ever difficult working with the parents? Is there ever a hesitancy that, hey, we don't want to step forward and be the ones that are doing this? Or is there any shyness to any of this program? I've heard people say before that sometimes, and I know you've got a lot of kids on your list this year and maybe not as many donors as most years, but how difficult is it to identify the families that you work with?
Because they're in case management, we do set it up and work with them. There is some hesitancy because, frankly, there's a little bit of almost shame in not being able to provide for your children, or it just feels bad. But the way that we conduct our program is that the gifts come in from the donors unwrapped, and we put them in a bag with the child's wish list on there, so the people that are shopping for the children know the kid's first name. It's John, or it's Sebastian, or it's Nevaeh, and they know what the child likes. But it goes into a bag. We give wrapping paper to the parents. They pick up the gifts separate from their kids a little bit before Christmas. They take it home and wrap it and put it under the tree. So for the parents and for the kids, it does look like the gift comes from the parents. Yeah. So there's some dignity and just some really good family building and some good confidence building that happens there. So we try to overcome any hesitancy of, I don't want to ask for something for my kids. I'm already getting so much from Catholic Charities through my case management program. We try to break down that barrier by saying these gifts are really going to come from you. And you've just got more people here supporting you on your journey, because these are folks that are really trying to set goals, to make progress in their life, to figure out how to grow themselves out of poverty, to get a job, to build their skills, to keep their housing stable. And they're working hard already. And so, frankly, their case managers are a big support. But the sponsors of Christmas Shining Star Gifts are another really huge support to them as they're making their way up to a thriving and stable life.
Okay, so it's no surprise with the economy the way it is. You have more kids on the list this year and fewer people donating, either monetarily or buying gifts or doing whatever. How challenging and complicated has that been? I mean, we had the COVID years and everything else. Is this the most challenging time ever for Christmas Shining Star?
Every year seems to be different. COVID was tough, and this year just has different challenges because a lot of our people that have been great supporters of Christmas Shining Star are saying, I have to pull back this year and I have to pull back somewhere. If folks are taking a look at the wish list and saying, I can't sponsor this entire kids wish list. I can't do 5 or 6 gifts. I can do 1 or 2. And so we've been matching people up. It's been a little more work, but frankly, we're really gratified when people do respond, and so we're just trying to cast the net wider. So if you can't sponsor an entire kids wish list of 5 or 6 items, and $60 to $75, $80, maybe you could do 1 or 2 gifts, and we would be happy to take those, assemble the gifts in together, and get them to the parents so that the kid has several things from their wish list to open on Christmas morning.
Okay, so what can our listeners do? And I know we did this a couple of years ago, and I know they can go to the website, they can make a donation. Can they do it specifically for Christmas Shining Star and not one of the other programs? Or do you want them to purchase gifts, bring them by your office in Kansas City? What can if somebody's listening right now and says, I want to help in whatever way, whether it's $20 or $200 that worth of toys or donation, how can people best help?
They can absolutely go to our website and make a donation and just indicate that it's for Christmas Shining Star. If you go to our main donate page, there's a place to put a note in there that is for Shining Star. You can also go to our website and click on the Shining Star webpage where we have all of the children's wish lists listed. And you can read through if you're looking to sponsor a boy that's 7 years old who likes football. You can find that child there. Click on that green button that says sponsor this child, and we'll email the wish list to you. And you can purchase those items and bring them to our office at 4001 Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. We're in Suite 250, so up on the 2nd floor. And if you just bring those by the office, then we'll take care of getting them assembled and getting them out to parents. You could also go to our Amazon wish list. We get a lot of requests for things like basketballs and footballs and soccer balls and green hoodies, things like that. They're all listed on our Amazon wish list. They don't have Amazon Smile anymore, but if you just go to wish list and Catholic Charities, we've got several things listed there. So you could order them to Amazon and have them delivered directly to our office.
All right, I'm probably getting out over my skis and shouldn't ask this, but what if somebody wanted to drop off a check to Catholic Charities or Christmas Shining Star at a local parish in their neighborhood, at a church? Would it find you?
Oh, it absolutely would. We have a great relationship with Catholic parishes and some other organizations around town, and they know that we're doing Shining Star. So if someone just lives out in Lee Summit and they want to go to the local Catholic parish there, we'll just let the parish staff know that if someone does come in, please accept that check, give people a nice handshake and a hug, and call us and let us know, and we'll swing by and pick that up and put that money to good use.
And each parish does a nice job at different times of year trying to support the charities, the Catholic charities, not just around Kansas City, but maybe around the world. Is this a bigger time when we go to Mass? Will we be hearing about this? Will they try to specifically help target you? Because as I remember last time, they don't really do that for Christmas Shining Star, do they?
Some parishes do. They request that we send them a list of maybe 25 kits, and they'll put them up on maybe a Christmas giving tree where people can take, a tag with one item on there and then return it to the parish. Our Lady of Presentation does that. Holy Family does that. We've got several parishes that kind of adopt this program as one of the things that they do during the holidays. But parishes are very, very supportive of us throughout the year. There's an emergency assistance fund collection that happens in the winter after the first of the year. They sponsor a lot of our programs to do mental health ministry, a lot of our case managers are able to borrow a room at a parish and meet with the client to break down some transportation barriers. So they are quite supportive, and we are very grateful for that partnership.
Well, you guys are on it. I just want to make it as easy as possible for anybody listening if they want to help. Again, you can go to the Catholic Charities website of Kansas City and St. Joe, click on Christmas Shining Star, make a donation that way, or you can send toys or drop them off, which is what me and my mom did a couple of years ago. 4001 Martin Luther King Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri, suite number 250, and you can just walk right up and bring a bag full of toys or anything that you want to bring in and help out in any way, or you can drop a check off there or cash, however you'd like to do it. This is it's a bold program that you do, and I know that I just know, Susan, how stressful for the holidays for so many of us are just about joy and family and good feelings, but I know what you're doing with Christmas Shining Star can also be very stressful. Tell me about your staff, the folks that are working this, and how many volunteers you need, because I know you can sign up at the website and become a volunteer as well. If people want to help, wrap gifts or sort them, or can you use volunteers?
We absolutely can use volunteers, and just go to the volunteer website, that volunteer page on our website, and volunteer to help with Shining Star. Linda Hopkins, our volunteer manager, will reach back out to you, or Mary O'Brien, who's also leading the charge on Shining Star this year. We need lots of folks to come sort through gifts. We just check everything and make sure that the kids got the appropriate size and that we've got everything marked and we've got it organized, because parents will come on the 8th and 9th of December and then the next week to pick up their children's gifts. And a lot of times they've got the kids in the car and we need to make sure that everything's right when it goes out the door. So volunteers to help us make sure that those bags are well prepared are really welcome. And it's an awful lot of, it's a really fulfilling moment, because you are putting Christmas gifts in a bag for a kid whose name you know. You probably will never meet them, but you know that, well, this is for Sebastian, and Sebastian is going to be so excited when he sees this on Christmas morning. It's a real feel-good moment. It is a bit stressful for the staff, because everybody that works here is so committed to the mission and so committed to the people that we serve. And of course, we want the absolute best for each and every one of the families and each and every one of the children. So when you've only got a certain amount of money, a certain amount of items, and you're trying to stretch it so far, it's kind of like when you're making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and you have to keep smoothing the peanut butter over it so everybody gets something. That's the stressful feeling.
Yeah, I think what's really neat too, and I would encourage anyone to do this, and it's not unique that we did it with my kids growing up, and I've done it since they're adults now. We've actually gotten together and done things like this. When you're a kid and you're a parent, you're always telling your kids, do this, don't do that, whatever, and sometimes it just goes in one ear and out the other. But around the holidays, when we would go shopping, I would say, now we're going to buy something for somebody just like you today, but you don't know who they are, and we're going to donate it. So be selfish and think about something you'd really like for Christmas, but you're not getting it. And it was kind of a powerful message for the kids. They'd be like, okay, well, I really want this or that or whatever. And sometimes it was when they became teenagers, a pair of Adidas shoes or something like that. It was like, okay, find somebody like you, think about you, but it's not about you. And I would encourage anybody to do that and then donate this way in any way that you can with your children or your grandchildren. To me, that's about as fulfilling as anything. And you're not really telling your kids anything. You're doing it with them and they see it. And I think children learn things about service and others if there's the actual activity instead of, hey, we made a donation. Go do something, be involved, volunteer, go down to Catholic Charities and help out. To me, that's always more empowering, and it's really impactful for young people to learn this.
Oh, I totally agree. Those are lifelong lessons that really serve people well, because when you're thinking externally, you're not looking internally at me, but you're making a connection with somebody else, because like your kids were choosing something that they would like to have for someone just like them. And so there's a real connection that happens here, even though they'll never meet them. They may never even know their name. But it's just it's such a great lesson for people to internalize and learn, because it moves their focus from being inward to being outward, makes us really great community members.
It's great work you're doing. Christmas Shining Stars, the program. Susan Walker is the Executive Director of Outreach with Catholic Charities in Kansas City and St. Joe. Go to their website, make a donation. And if not that, we'd love to have you dropping off toys. Their offices are at 4001 Martin Luther King Boulevard in Kansas City, suite number 250. And you've got an Amazon wish list. I'm not sure I know exactly what that is, but there's other ways people can go directly and do things. I'm not a big techie, but these things are very easy for people to know what they're doing, right?
They absolutely are. If you just go to Amazon.com and search for wish list and look for us, for Catholic Charities of Kansas City, St. Joseph, you'll find it.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the great work you're doing. We'll do what we can to help spread the word, and we hope this is a blessed holiday season for all of you at Catholic Charities and everyone that you're helping serve.
Oh, thank you so much.
Take care, Susan.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. She is Susan Walker. She's the Executive Director of Outreach and Engagement for Catholic Charities in Kansas City and St. Joe, and they just do such a great job. We had an unbelievable experience a couple of years ago with all of the folks down there. My mom was especially moved by that, and my mom is so involved and has been her entire life with the Catholic Church. And we really, I just love my mom. And I love what's important to her. And I know that things like this, she hasn't said it. She hasn't brought this up. She hasn't said, hey, are you doing that thing for Catholic Charities or Christmas Shining Star again? No. But I know she likes when I do it. And I like to make my mom happy. And these are good people doing a great thing. And we know that Catholic Charities are involved in a lot of different things. But we're focused on Christmas Shining Star, and I cannot think of anything in particular more worthwhile than these families getting gifts for their young ones for Christmas morning to celebrate the holiday that we all love, that is so meaningful for all of us. And this is not about the commercialization of Christmas. It's about the experience of Christmas. It's about the message of Christ. It's about peace and love and forgiveness and the joy of baby Jesus being born and celebrating with the family and friends that you love most. And we're not talking about big, expensive gifts here or anything extravagant. It's just the experience and the importance of this holiday that in many corners of this country, people are trying to cancel. Trust me, there are millions of people. We talk about them all the time on this podcast. This isn't the place for me to get into all this. We talk about it all the time. There are millions of people in this country that would love to cancel Christmas. So think about that for a moment. Just think about who and what we are as a culture and as a people, or as Christians, but certainly as Americans, which is a country that was founded on Christian faith. It's very clear. It's very clear. If you just think in the bigger picture like that, spreading the joy of Christmas, spreading the message of Christmas, and spreading Christmas to families who may not otherwise spend Christmas Day as any day different than any other, I think that's important work. And I think Susan and her staff do a great job at Christmas Shining Star. And I was certainly pleased to help in a much larger way a couple of years ago. We'll be making a donation, and many of you will, and you can email me if you want to know more information about how to make a donation, or you want me to take care of it for you. We've had people like literally send checks made out to them, and I'll make sure, I'll if it all sounds too hard for you, you get a hold of me and I'll make it happen for you. I'll do that, whatever it takes. If I got to come to your house and get it, if I need to direct you to a website, if I need to get you an address or send you stamps to mail it, whatever I need to do, I'll help you facilitate it. You can always reach me, Kevin@kkasissue.com. That's real simple. If you want to help Christmas Shining Star, I will be your personal concierge. I'll be happy to do that for these good folks because this is really important work. They do have more kids. The economy is down. There are fewer donors. There's fewer companies involved. Maybe you'd like to sign your company up for a day of volunteering. Give 5, 7, 10 people around your office an afternoon off and go down there and help them sort gifts instead of being at the office. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be toys. You take people from your workplace, say, here's what we're doing. We're taking 3 hours. We're going to go down here and help these folks. So got a pile of toys that need to be sorted. We're going to help. We're going to go volunteer as a group. I think your employees would love that. They'd love getting out of the office or the workplace and going and doing that for a little bit. Even if they're not Christian, even if they're not Catholic, they would still feel the joy of the spirit of peace and love and giving. That's what that's all about. Susan Walker, Executive Director of Outreach, Christmas Shining Star on Kevin Kietzman Has Issues.